Alright, we're gonna try take 2 here. Okay, hold on. I forgot to pop out my chat. See, that's what happens when I rush it. Alright, let me just get this set up. If you guys want to put a 1 in the chat, if everything's good. I'm sorry, guys. I can't help it. Yeah, we're supposed to be getting Google Internet, Google Fiber. They put in the lines about a month ago. And so now we're just waiting for them to kick on the juice and start sending out the offers. Because, yeah, I would love to get Google Internet or Google Fiber Internet. The uploads are amazing. Way better than what... Even like the top tier Comcast, the upload speed is not very good. Even at the top tier, it's not great. The download speeds are fine, but the upload, which is what I need to stream, is not that good. So, and I've ran into trouble ever since I came back to Utah, because Ohio, I forget what they were using. I think it was Spectrum. Although I wasn't really going live, I didn't have a problem. And even in St. George, I was doing 5G internet. I forget the provider they were using, but only had like 1 or 2 problems. So, but like I'm even hardwired in right now, which is just kind of crazy. So. It's 5 a.m. here, Chris. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for getting up early or staying up late, Amy. I appreciate it. I'm sorry. Like I said, it's kind of a late live. Yay, we're back. Yeah, we're just going to go for like 30, 35 minutes or so. I'm going to quickly go over the missing one more time, because the main points of my channel, or the goals, I should say, is to promote the missing. And I found that the best way to do that, in my opinion, for me, is to tag it onto a bigger story. Because sadly, if I just did a story about Maria Drobnak, sadly it's not going to get the same views as if I featured her in the beginning of a video and I'm talking about the Delphi case. It's going to get a lot more views, and the people that need to see, her picture, there's better chances of that. So that's kind of why I do that with my channel. And I've kind of basically done it since day one. So anyway, so this is Maria Drobnak from Johnstown, Pennsylvania, missing since February 28th, a couple months now. So, and believed to be a runaway with Lucas Dermott here. So that's those two there. And then Ryan Larson from La Vista, Nebraska. He's been missing for almost a year now. So anybody who's in that area there, keep a lookout for Ryan. He's only 12 years old. So Tom says, anyone that wants the printable timeline for tomorrow night, send me an email at... okay, yeah. Yeah, I think I got you modded up so you can... Oh, do I got you... Here. There, I modded you, Tom, so you can drop an email, buddy. So, okay. So let's close that. Thank you, Tom. Oh, yeah, Frank Meister says, the UAP and the gas mask made me laugh so hard I was crying ridiculous. Yeah, I had to go and debunk that because everybody was sending me that video like crazy. Same with Gisla from Grizzly True Crime. She was getting it. She sent me a thank you and an email for debunking that video. I know debunking videos are not always the funnest videos compared to like talking about theories and stuff. So, but yeah, that was kind of outlandish. So anyway, all right, back on track here. Let me just quickly recap. And hopefully, I'm assuming everything's running better. Let me just check my thing here. Okay, running much better. Okay, wonder what that was, man. I mean, I was dead in the water. That's weird. Okay, just quick recap. So, these two girls went, we're going to go to the Monon High Bridge February 13th, 2017. This was over 5 years ago. They had school off. It was a Monday. They wanted to go last minute, go to this bridge. And so Liberty had her older sister drop them off at 1:40 at the bridge. And they were just going to be there for a couple hours, and then her father was going to come pick them up. Sadly, when the father showed up, they weren't there. And so he went looking for him, couldn't find him. Sadly, had to get law enforcement involved. They did a search party. They couldn't find him. Rolls into the next day, February 14th. They're still looking for him. And then sadly, they came across their bodies around noon or so the next day, on the 14th. And so, yeah, sadly found their bodies. They were murdered. Libby was smart enough to capture some footage and audio. Here's that video of who we call the bridge guy. He's believed to be the main suspect in this. Hopefully next getting a call at the same time. I sent a super chat, didn't lock us up, laugh out loud. Oh, no, it's just Comcast. But thank you, Tom. CP. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Frank is, when it comes to persons of interest, definitely Frank is the guy to ask for sure. Frank Meister is, that crew is very good with persons of interest. Like I said, that's probably my weakest area when it comes to the Delphi case, because I've just been covering other aspects of the case. So anyway, getting back into my main thing. So, and then just to recap on the two guys that we're going to be covering today. So, for the first 2 years, they had one sketch and an audio and some a still from that footage. And then in 2019, they came out with a new sketch and said that they hit the reset button and went at a different angle. And then we learned last year that the new angle is this whole catfishing thing. And so I'm just going to play just a little piece of this.
Young girls to
and so apparently Kagan Klines. Well, here, I'll just play it with the audio here.
Old Monon High Bridge in Delphi in Carroll County.
Tom's question: has anyone heard about the white Dodge rental car being seen at the trailhead? So yes, I have heard of that. That was very early on. Now it's rumored that the person that came up with that, well, I know that they attached themselves to another picture that was they took a picture of a white Dodge Dart that had like a paper tag, just a temporary license plate. You know, it's a paper lily. Any volume to that? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm trying to answer your question. Yeah. So that was a rumor that there was a white Dodge Dart. But yes, there you go. Thank you, Tex. Yeah. Apparently, it's been debunked. Thank you, Tex. Yep, that's where I was going with it. Yeah, because there was another picture of what looked to be the same car from somebody taking it from inside their house, and said that there was a suspicious guy behind a white Dodge Dart with his trunk open. And anyway, kind of a long story, but it turned out to be, from what I understand, debunked.
All right, again, this is still unsolved. Nobody has been...
Let me see if there was anything. So, okay. So I don't go too long. So, like I said, today's video, I just wanted to go over, because I know, because like I said, when I saw that poll the other day where it was like 75% still believe that one of the Klines are involved, I thought it'd be kind of interesting to do a video where what are the best arguments of why or why not. And so I kind of made my own list, and we'll go over that as well. And then I thought if you guys want to put in the comments, and I'll read some out, if you want to put right now whether your strongest argument as to why you think it is one of the Klines or why not, and then I'll just kind of read them off as we kind of go. But I'll give you some physical stats here, and then we'll go into my arguments. But if you want to put something in the comment as to why you think it is or why you don't think it is, I'd love to hear it. Aaron says, somewhere I saw that local law enforcement has never officially what kind of car there was interest. Yeah, that they were interested in the CPS building. They just said an older model car. Yeah, they just said that they were interested in a car. Because I think he said an abandoned car, but I think he meant to say the abandoned CPS building. Because there was a lot of words mixed up that day in that press conference. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Mammy. Really enjoy your shows watching from Knoxville, Tennessee. Thank you. So Kim Shine says, I think if it was them, they would have already pressed charges. And that would be one of my arguments right there. So let's get into Kagan real quick. Just some basic stats of him. So, well, let's start with the bridge guy. So his estimated height is between 5'6", 5'10". I think we've kind of narrowed that down to approximately 5'8", maybe 5'9", in my opinion. No taller than that. Weight, they had it originally at 180 to 220. Then I believe they brought it down to 180 to 200. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. And then, of course, now they've taken all those stats away. But at the time, they had him between 180 and 220 at one point. Kagan Kline, estimated height. Now, this is where it's kind of difficult because I put between 5'10 and 6 feet. And the reason is Keegan Kline was booked in 2020. They had his height at 6 feet, and I'll show you guys in a minute. And they have his weight at 275. So now with the height, even if you take a few inches off, he's still going to be kind of above the height range. So thank you, Fig. Yep, we got some very knowledgeable people in here. Follow the case very well. There's two different photos of BG. I believe you're talking about the sketches, Frank. If you're answering somebody's question. So anyway, so I put 5'10 to 6 feet, and I'll explain that in just a minute. So with the stats compared to Bridge Guy, as you can see, as far as physical appearance, and I know I've gotten this comment many times in my videos, they say, well, his weight could have been lower in 2017. I forget the date on this picture, but I'll show you guys one here in a minute of the one where they was taken in 2017. His weight hasn't changed much over the years, and that's even confirmed by 2 different friends. We've learned that from the murder sheet, and I think another. I think Greeno interviewed his, like, I don't know if it was his ex-girlfriend or just a friend of Keegan's, but she said that his weight hasn't really changed over the years. So he would still kind of look like this. And I think this is 2018, maybe 2019, but I think this is 2018. So this is when he was booked in. I don't want to show anything else because it's got the address and everything. I have a photo of BG who is taller and thinner, and another with BG is shorter and heavier. Yeah, if you can send that to me, Frank, would love to see that. I'd like to know how that would happen, but interesting. Very interesting. So here he is. This is official records that you can look up. So as you can see, it's got him as 6 feet, 275 pounds. I don't think he's 6 feet, but I do think he's tall. Like I said, I have him between 5'10" to 6 feet. Now this is the problem. In an interview in the police transcript, he says, when they're asked about Tony, his father, he says that his father's 5'11". Well, there's kind of one problem with that. There's I think there's 2 photos, but this photo here, as you can see, they're standing next to each other, and you can see that Tony is clearly just a little bit taller than Kagan. So, and he says that his father's 5'11". So I think what it is, in my opinion, I think that his father's probably 6 feet, and he's probably 5'11". Give it an inch or 2. But, so that's my opinion. But we know that Tony is for sure pretty tall because he tends to tower over people. And here's kind of a look at him, much younger. As you can see, they're both their body type, shape. They've been kind of heavier set guys. So even when they were younger. So in my opinion, as far as, let me go back to Kagan, I think he's probably 5'11", in my opinion, close to. So moving on to Tony. So once again, thinking that Bridge Guy's probably somewhere around 5'8", and his weight's probably 180 to 200, I would think. You got Tony Kline estimated. I put 5'10" to 6 feet again. I would lean more towards the 6 feet, thinking he's slightly taller than his dad. And then I put it in here. And then his weight, I haven't seen anything as far as his weight. I don't know if anybody, Frank or Fig, if you guys know, heard anything about his weight. I do not know. So I'm assuming somewhere between 210 to 250. I just put a 40 pound variance on that. I'd assume it's got to be just a little over 200. So then I just put Tony Kline is approximately 5'11", according to Kagan Kline during the police interview in 2020. Tony Kline's weight is exactly as unknown to me at this time, so I put 210 to 250. He falls just above the weight and height for BG, according to the old FBI.gov site. So I will go into that, Lisa Lee. That's a good question. It's a very good question, and I will go into that as well. We should concentrate on the younger sketch. He may look totally different today. Yep. Yep. Godspeed says, I don't think Bridge Guy is Tony Kline. Bridge Guy looks like he's about 50 years old. 50 years old back then, or at least upper 40s. Yep. Yeah, the sketches, yeah, gosh, there's so many things. Yeah, I'm sure Fig's got a great video. Yeah, the sketches, it couldn't be more confusing when it comes to the sketches. There's tons of theories out there. If I get time, I'll go over my theory. I don't know if I've seen that one of Fig's, but I know Fig is a very intelligent guy. He's probably got a great video on that. So here is, take a sip here. I got a dry mouth. Here's just some photos of compared to each the younger and old sketch, just so you guys can look at it for a minute. When are the pictures from random time periods? As far as the pictures, I was just using with the Klines. That's 2017 or 2018. As a matter of fact, when they're standing in front of the Hoover Dam, it's 2017. Tom says, the fact that neither one of them are in jail tells me that law enforcement has found things to rule them out, possibly drop someone's hair to throw them out. Okay, that's semi... now, Kagan is in jail. He's awaiting trial for all of his child CP charges. He's got approximately 40 charges Kagan is awaiting for. So they pushed his trial back. It was supposed to be in February. They pushed it back May, I believe. God, and I think they pushed it back again. Yeah, the sketches hurt my brain. Yes, Vic. Yes, I agree. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'll go over my theory on it if I get a second. Old sketch is a composite from a witness who saw BG with the neck gaiter covering his lower face. Young sketch is a witness of BG after he removed clothing. I think part of that is true. Yep. Okay, if I get a chance, Frank, I'm curious about... Yeah, let me pull this up. I am very curious to see what he's talking about. I've never heard of two different photos of BG and one being skinnier than the other. So I'm going to switch gears for a minute. Give me 1 second, guys. I am dying to see this. So Frank Meister sent me, he says that he's got a picture of BG where he looks tall and big, and then shorter and tall and skinny, and then one that's shorter and bigger. Oh, I see. Oh, I know what's going on here. Yeah, that's... Okay, so I can explain this. Working with video production so much, I know exactly what this is. I can recreate this. I can tell you the left one right now is wrong. I'll show you what's going on, Frank. I can explain it. I could recreate it. Oh, here we go. There it is. I can explain what's going on. It's probably using the program I used to... Okay, let me close this. Alright. I know what's going on right here. Okay. So he's saying, why is this guy tall and skinny and this one kind of makes him look shorter and fat? I can tell you this one is the one that's off right here. And basically what it is so when I'm using my program, OpenShot video editor, that's what I use to edit my videos and stuff. And I'm sure you could do it with other video editors. Anyway, so when you zoom in, you have to have the X and Y axis at the same numbers. Or what happens is if they're not accurate when you're zooming in, you can expand one out. Basically just like what you could do with the picture, where you could either stretch it out this way or stretch it out vertically, or you can just expand it so it doesn't change the width or height, it just makes it bigger. what they did is they zoomed in on the x-axis to a certain percentage, but with the y-axis, or it could be reverse, it was more and caused it to go like that. So I know exactly what this is because this happened to me when I was zooming in with my footage. So to explain what this is the wrong picture. This is the right picture. This is zoomed in with the axis off a little bit. So that would be my explanation for that. So I hope I answered that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Because as you can see, this is the real footage right here. Oops, I'm trying to do it without blocking me. But yeah, this is the real footage here. As you can see, it lines up with mine. This one, they zoomed in, but they didn't zoom both accurately on both the X and the X and Y axis. Try to say that 10 times fast. And so you're going to get either super tall or wide. So anyway, all right. So back to the arguments. So Earl the Pearl says TK sounds nothing like the audio. Yeah, so Tony Kline, apparently from what we've heard from Murder Sheet, Bart the stepson, he says that I guess since we're talking about that, we'll go into the voices. So says that. So I couldn't find it before I went live, but I promise you, it sounds nothing like Tony. Listening to Tony Kline's voicemail does not match the sound of him at all. He has a higher, softer pitch tone, almost kind of girly man voice. Now, with listening to Kagan Kline's voice, it does sound kind of close. I wouldn't say exact, in my opinion. Some people think it's an exact match. If we get a minute, I'll match it up if I can. But Jennifer's got it. All right. Good night, Jennifer. Thank you so much for tuning in for a little bit. That's understandable. So, let's see. So here are my best arguments. I wouldn't say my best arguments, just a few that I wanted to throw out. And then, like I said, I wanted to read some of your guys's. Like I said, if you got a good argument as to why or why not, throw it in the comments. I'll try to read a few out. So here's a few reasons why I think it's possible that they could be involved. They were living within approximately 30 minutes of Delphi. They're in Peru. It's real close to the Monon High Bridge. So they would have knowledge to that area. Tom N says, I heard that they didn't actually find the phone and they pulled the data from the girl's iCloud file. Has this been debunked? I think they've officially said that they recovered Libby's phone more than once. I think it was more of a rumor in the beginning that they had gotten it off the iCloud, but I think they've officially came out and said, yes, we have Libby's phone. I think it was kind of, I don't know if it was like completely destroyed, but it was like kind of broken or something from the scuff. But yes, they do have her phone. So to the alibi that somebody came up with, their alibi is not the best. So their alibi, which I guess is kind of really their alibi is each other in a way, but they said that they were watching WrestleMania on a Monday. WrestleMania is usually on a Sunday night. Now, it's not uncommon to record, or it wouldn't even surprise me if he probably torrented the video or the WrestleMania, and that's why they're watching the next day, because usually you have to wait until the event's over, and then somebody has to upload it. So they're probably just, because, clearly Kagan is a tech-savvy guy, so it wouldn't surprise me if they would have maybe torrented the, illegal downloaded the WrestleMania pay-per-view. But it's not like, I was at work and my work can vouch for me. so it's not the best alibi. So it's kind of an argument for why and why not, because they have an alibi, but it's not the best. The other one that's pretty big is they're both into young girls, and that's been confirmed, I mean, clearly by Kagan, and we've learned that there's actually been some pretty accusations with Tony apparently sleeping with one of Kagan's friends that was apparently underage. And if we get time, I'll play that clip. Another good reason why, Tony was a hunter and also very abusive towards women and kids. We learned that in the murder sheet. Tony, at one point, his stepson clogged the toilet and ended up smashing that kid's head against the toilet, breaking his orbital socket, and going and pinning his mother down and beating on her. So this guy Tony is definitely got the, abusive, that I could see that, he could commit something like this. Kagan admitted he was chatting with one of the girls prior to the murder. Now that's probably one of the biggest ones, and why people are probably really think that Kagan or one of them are involved with the murders, is that yes, he was chatting with not only Libby's friend, but Libby herself through the Anthony Shots profile. So either it's dumb luck that he just happened to be chatting with a girl that would end up being murdered, or there's something more to that. Duke Nukem. Oh, I love Duke Nukem. I love that name. Why do people think fits? Yeah, why do you think Tony fits the BG image? Tony looks at least 300 pounds closer. Yeah, so the weight they have on him is 275. So yeah, he's close to 300 pounds. At least in 2020, and from what I just went over, his weight really hasn't changed much before that. Brother Yeti did an audio match at Keegan Klein and BG. Did not match. However, those emotionally and personally invested in it, being the Klines, won't accept this. Yeah, I definitely see the dad. Kagan's a little bit, but I don't think it's a match. Earl thinks, I think BG is someone yet to be identified. Yeah. Alright, so continuing on the reasons why. Tony was considered a peeping Tom. We've learned that through the latest murder sheets. That apparently, he was a creeper. So like father, like son. Another big one that's really weird that really stuck out to me was Kagan on Facebook posted that he was a blackjack dealer in Vegas the day of the murders. He ended up doing this twice, where he changed on his Facebook page his like work history or whatever. He said, he's training for, I'm not even sure if it was saying he was training. I think it just said now he's a blackjack dealer. And that was on February 13th. He posted that. And then he doubled down like later on and like re-uploaded or like tagged it or something. Which is really weird. Kagan failed his polygraph when asked about the murders. Could have been nerves, but it's interesting that he would have failed that. And then another strange one for as a good argument as to why it could be one of them is Kagan looked up DNA after the murders. And what I mean by that is right after the murders, he was looking up how long does DNA last. So that search was stuck in his search history, so they were able to extract that. And he was asked about that during his interrogation. So I'd say that is kind of odd for somebody to be researching that just after a murder. So like I said, I'm trying to go both sides because I know there's somebody's just, it's kind of everybody's, I wouldn't say 50-50. I think more people still think that Klines has something to do with it. So that's kind of why I was doing this video, is I kind of wanted to touch on both sides. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Nobody's emotionally invested in Klines. They recognize that Kagan was meeting up with Libby when she was murdered. Yeah, it's either it's a strange, dumb luck coincidence, or there's more to it. Yeah. Yeah, yep, yeah, I can't read that, libertarian, sadly, but yeah. Okay, so some reasons why not. Yeah, that's a good question. Jumping Jack Flash, who knows how many scumbags were using the AS account? That's a good question. Law enforcement does believe that there is two personalities that have been chatting with while using that account. And for some reason, Kagan tends to try to throw what we call friend one under the bus. We've done some research on friend one. Friend one doesn't fit the profile at all. But every time they try to ask, well, could your dad have access to it? He tries to almost defend his dad. It's a little interesting. It is kind of a little suspicious the way he's when it comes to asking if his dad could have, came in the room or knew the passwords, he said no. So, all right. So the reasons why not, just some of mine that I threw out. So I think this is probably the big one, and I think you guys have probably already put this in the comments already. So although this info that's all been coming out recently is new to us, law enforcement has known about this for over 2 years. You could almost say 3 years. And no arrests have been made, other than obviously, when I mean no arrests made towards the murder of Abby and Libby. So, because people get excited because they're still putting out videos like in the news and stuff, like not HLN, but some of these other ones that are still big. They put in their on their YouTube tagline like new developments in the Delphi murder case, and people get excited because we want this to be solved, but really they're just talking about all this kind of stuff that's been coming out from the murder sheet, and it's really nothing. It's new to us, but it's really just something that law enforcement has known about for years. And really, in my opinion, part of the reasons why it's coming out now is that Kagan's going to have his trial, so we'd be learning about this stuff one way or another. So another reason why not, they have an alibi even though it is weak. So yeah, the alibi that they have, so they have a weak alibi. So they do have the alibi even though it's the WrestleMania. They at least have an alibi. Kagan was always indoors, not considered the outdoors type. That was through the Bart interview with his half-brother. His half-brother said that even though he only lived with Kagan for a few years, he's always still kind of checked in on him throughout the years. And he says he's just kind of the kid that just kind of stays indoors in his room most of the time. So not the like hunter or somebody that gets out. And then another one is neither one of them matches the description of the sketches, in my opinion. I know we've seen a lot when it comes to the sketches. And as far, in my opinion, I don't think they look anything like the sketches really. I mean, you could pick out a few things if you really kind of mashed them up. You could kind of really make anybody kind of match up if you really tweaked with it enough. Kagan was told by law enforcement that they do not believe he is the killer. So that's a big one. Now, he could have been lying. Obviously, law enforcement could be lying to him when they say that, just to kind of, try to build some trust. But that was told to him. Another reason why not, Kagan's MO does not fit with the end results of the crime scene. And what I mean with that is his motive. His motive seems to be, at the most, I wouldn't even say meet girls. He just wants to get, nude photos, pictures. At the most, he would maybe want to meet up with a young girl. But this motive doesn't fit, with the motive that is attached with Libby and Abby's crime, in my opinion. Another one, Tony does not sound like BG at all. That's confirmed through videos that I played. We've had a voicemail of Tony Kline, and even Bart's interview, who is the stepson to Tony, said that he sounds nothing like BG. And then obviously neither one of them fits the height and weight, in my opinion. So those are just some of my arguments why and why not. Just to kind of touch on both sides. So I'm going to read some of, if you guys got some. Just look. Sketches are always bad, so a sketch not being good doesn't mean anything. Yeah, it's a good point. Sketches are about 9% accurate. I've done a couple of videos, live shows. It was kind of fun. We took videos, or we took sketches from famous cases, and we just did a bunch of them. We took like 20 random, and kind of matched them up with the mug shots. And yeah, usually most of them are pretty off when it comes to when it comes to sketches. Usually when it comes to sketches, it's kind of like there's one thing that's really supposed to stick out in the sketch, say like the nose or a lazy eye, or the way that with like I always go back to Ted Bundy. His police sketch, the face is off, but they have his hair, and they have this part in his hair, and it's like perfect, exactly where Ted Bundy's part was. And so I could see somebody, the face, like I said, the face is completely off. But if they saw that, recognized that part in the hair, they, and then same with Richard Ramirez, the face was off, but the hair, they had the curly hair. So sometimes really when it comes down to a sketch, it might just be that one thing that sticks out, like that big nose, big chin. Young BG sketch, according to Fixall's video, was from a witness at a great distance. It's going to be a very vague resemblance. Yeah, I've heard a couple of theories on the young guy sketch. Even as much as that they took this young guy sketch was from the model that was used in the Anthony Shots account, which that don't make sense to me. Even though he does kind of look like him, even though this is really just a generic sketch anyway. But yeah, I would probably have to agree more with Fig if this was something. I know a lady had seen a guy on her property. I'm not sure if that's that one. And then there's also the 16-year-old witness who saw somebody. I know one of the witnesses saw a guy with the scarf over his face. So I think there's more witnesses out there. I just don't know if they've wanted to come forward or not. Also keep in mind the artist is writing from some features the woman saw won't be perfect. Oh yeah, totally agree. Yep, the Ken and Barbie case. Yeah, big case. Check out the Paul Bernardo. Yep, Carla Homolka. Yeah, that is a crazy case. Yeah, I will be doing a video on that sometime down the road. Yeah, that's what I was exactly, Brittany. If that was the case, wouldn't they just use his picture? Exactly. That's my argument for those people that think this is a picture of the Snapchat guy. It'd be like, well, why don't you just take the picture that's on the phone that you're supposedly describing to law enforcement and just put his picture up there? Why do we need the composite sketch if we know what this? Yeah, so it doesn't make sense. It kind of made sense in the very beginning when this all first came out. Like law enforcement was trying to, kind of play some games or something. But yeah, now it don't really make sense. That's a good question. Yeah, U.S. Liberty figures great. These are his opinions. That sketch could have been a ruse from police to see what Kagan did after it was released. A lot of people feel like this new sketch is some kind of ruse from police. I definitely agree with that. I've heard that a lot with the new sketch. That there's more to it than just the sketch itself. Thank you, Trucker Girl, for the $2.99. I'm just kind of looking at some comments I can answer real quick. Yeah, so let me just go into my theory as far as the sketches. And this came from a retired detective. Not Steve, a different retired detective. So the idea with the two sketches, now obviously this is the older sketch. This was the first sketch done, this younger guy's sketch. This sketch was actually number 2. Now, but they released this one first, and I think as far as this one to me makes sense as far as what happened here, in my opinion. And this kind of comes from a retired detective. And he says the reason why they didn't release this one in the beginning, even though this was the first sketch, they had a person of interest early on, like right away. And that's why they put the hat on and the hood on. And he was detailed to look like one of the persons of interest they had on the beginning. And okay, cool. I pulled it up. I think it's either Thomas Bruce. I'm thinking, in my opinion, I think it was Thomas Bruce. But they had their eye on a couple of persons of interest. I think, or actually one or two at the most in the very, very beginning. And I think, in my personal opinion, I think it was Thomas Bruce. And because it matches up pretty good. And then they just threw the hat on and the hood because they kind of combined the still footage and Thomas Bruce. And then it turns out that he, the DNA or whatever they had didn't match to him but to me. And so after that fell through, then they had to switch gears. And so that's my opinion. That's like I said, that was something that came up by a retired detective who said he's kind of seen something like that before. But to me, that makes the most sense to me, in my opinion, is that those two sketches, this was kind of made to resemble a particular person of interest, but he got cleared. And so now they need to move on, switch gears, and then you got Young Guy Sketch, who was actually the original sketch. So, but as far as the witness and who, that's really, like I said, that's not as something I know is about as much as other creators. So this is something that was sent to me. This is a little interesting for those that do think that the Klines are involved somehow. I have no idea what this means, but apparently this is the case for Tony Kline. And it looks like they've been, whatever, I have no idea what this means, but they've been putting in new stuff on March 9th of 2012 of this year. I have no idea what scan/microfilmed is, but As you know, you can get into case files. I forget the site exactly, but it's like mycase.gov for Indiana. And anyway, someone sent this to me. This is clearly some activity that's been going on in Tony Klines' case that they've been entering in. So I don't know what it means. If anybody does, let me know. But it is interesting because there's a lot of stuff there from 2009 to 2010. So let me close that up real quick. Brittany, Tony has got to be buddies with someone on the inside. Maybe. I think the sketches are two different people. Yep, that's what I think too. I agree with that. I have an overall theory regarding BG that would explain a lot why things have gone the way they have. I have put several comments out to explain this. To me, both sketches look lots and lots of people can be ruled out who would look nothing like it at all, but hard to point a finger directly based on only a sketch, it seems to me. Yeah. Remember they did an interview in Clear Keegan Klein a week after the murders. Did they use the word clear, USA? I don't know if they used the word clear. I know they said that they don't believe he is. I don't know if that's what you mean by clear. I'd have to kind of look back into that. Okay, just looking, just seeing for any arguments one way or the other. Didn't law enforcement state that they had an interview with the guy in the first sketch and he was no longer the person of interest? I think the first sketch was what duped law enforcement, not the second one. I think I agree with what you're saying if we're talking about the same sketches. Let's see. Just want to make sure I kind of don't skip anybody here. Let's see. Just checking here. That's it. I want to read everybody's argument one way or the other here. Yeah, I would say yeah. I don't think they've ever used the word clear. Yeah. I don't know when see the girls that day, but saw BG. Gosh, that's a good question, Brittany. Because Kelsi says there was at least 10 to 20 kids out there that day, and I could say there was at least 10 for sure, just by how many different witnesses are in that age range. So yeah, it is odd. Before I forget, let me show the pets for tonight real quick here, before it gets too late. So this was sent in by Kenny. This is Nubs, his bearded dragon. Apparently Nubs is missing a hand. It's a bearded dragon that he saved, so that was really cool. This was sent in by Rona. This is Papi and Buddy. Papi and Buddy. This is from Hello Baby. This is Kiki. A black cat. I would love to get a black cat. This is from Paula. And this is Bandit. My cat loves to do that as well. And then this is Bandit and Lego. Chilling out. So thank you guys for sending in the pet pictures. If you guys want to have any of your pets shown in the next video, just email me the pet's name and your YouTube name in the subject. Uh, yeah. Yeah, your dog is. Oh, well, yeah. The bearded dragon, yeah. Okay, let's see. Sometimes some insider motor mouth, proud of what they know, babbles on gossiping where a bad guy can hear it. So inside source would be a security leak, not necessarily a co-conspirator. I think the voice audio is key. I agree, Earl. Yeah, I know. I feel like any persons of interest, I think they need to get people starting to say down the hill, guys down the hill. Even though we could alter our voice, but I think that would be great to kind of help clear out some people. Yeah, the only really person that I think that they said that was cleared would be Ron Logan. I think that's about it. Yeah, no one is cleared. Yeah, I think, like I said, yeah, I think the only one would be Ron Logan. I think that was just kind of out of respect and. So, don't think anyone saw BG. Now, that's possible. Everybody, it could just be seeing some other people, and yeah. Maverick said, "I don't believe law enforcement truly know who it is. I think they suspect a lot of people who may have played a part." Yeah. Oh, they should conduct all interviews at the bridge and make them cross it. Ooh, that's not a bad idea, Misbehave. Yeah, you could really, see who's got the cojones to cross it and who doesn't. That's interesting. All right, so I think I've covered the arguments. Yeah, like I said, I didn't want to go too long tonight. Plus, we had that restart. I apologize. But I just thought it'd be interesting to hear if you guys had any good arguments as to why or why not you think it was one of the Klines, so that way I can put it out there. And my theory is the Klines pass or sold info, PP Tom Voyeur, to similar looking guy. They knew his look or not. The buyer knew what they looked like, the setup, watcher, and hunter. I think I could agree with some of that, Vicky, for sure. Definitely parts of that I could definitely see. Something like that. Or somehow information was stolen somehow of the accounts that they were able to... or they might have even used an account that, like I said, they're looking at Yubu and Yellow. Someone would have noticed the Anthony Shots account, so they set up an Anthony Shots account, but it was somebody completely different. Yeah, I know Cheyenne said she never seen or heard them. Yeah. I'm not sure about Cheryl, but yeah, Cheyenne, you're right, Brittany. Yeah, flannel shirt guy, yep. Well, so this is the thing about flannel shirt guy. He's so he said he saw him in the beginning, and now he's completely backtracked on everything. And now he's not talking. It just could be from all the heat and everything, but yeah, apparently he went back on his statement or something. Tom N says, "See you guys tomorrow. Good stuff coming. Email me if you want a printable timeline." There you go. Yeah, so I think we'll probably, I'm just going to read a few more comments real quick. Yeah. Like I said, big show tomorrow. We're going to be doing the Brandon Lawson case. A lot of info. A lot of stuff I've never heard before. A very, very crazy case if you haven't heard of it before. Yeah, why not start a search where you're arguing? Oh, yeah, under the bridge. Yeah, yeah. I agree. Yeah, 300K reward, yeah. I should start putting that out, So, anywho. Yeah, alright, so 8:30 tomorrow, guys. Brandon Lawson, we're going to have guest on Tom. And we're going to be going over that for about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then we'll have a part 2 maybe next weekend or something like that. So, have they confirmed the remains were Brandon's? I'll look into that. They basically said they were pretty darn sure that it was them because they found his clothing. So, but if I know any more information, I will let you know, Brittany. So, hopefully you can make that tomorrow. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful Friday or Saturday. And thanks for tuning in. I apologize for the bad start there. But, yep, we'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Thank you, mods, for everything you do. And everybody staying up. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.